even be a good Christian if you a bad person. You can have the prettiest voice in the world, but if you don't got love, it's garbage. Honestly, this is actually where I can build from. Not I can lose pounds, but I could lose baggage that I've been carrying for the last 20 years. I kept saying, the only way is if this happened, and then when A happened, B gonna happen, and C gonna happen.
He gave you Z. He went backwards on it. He said, here goes Z. And you start realizing, okay.
He said, yeah, we wasn't even starting from A.
He says, I'm not gonna do anything. I want you to walk down to the overflowing river and just walk and be confident I'm gonna do something. So if you want a resolution for next year, stop adding conditions to God's plan.
Hello and welcome back to
Uncharted Faith Podcast.
I am your co-host, Amber, aka Amber Bear.
And I'm your co-host, aka Dr. Mac, Reverend Alex McKinney.
It's been a little minute, but we are here. Hopefully, prayerfully, this is gonna be perfect timing for your listening ears. Today we're gonna pop it off with just some thoughts, maybe some reflections, maybe throw some folk off. What lie about yourself? And no, first, you can't ask me a repeat question. Don't ask me this question because I ain't thinking about it for me. What lie about yourself did you stop believing in 2025?
That it wasn't really a lie, but it's a persona. Who I was in the VA, that was my life, and I fit into that life until I let that life go, and it really opened my eyes up and said that it was more controlling than actually me being in control. So much so that when you let it go, you think you can't live without it.
Mm-hmm.
So
interesting.
I wasn't expecting that, but that's something I'm working through even as of today. So.
All right. You got anything you want to open up with? That was my little thing.
So you got me. So I'm going to throw it back at you this way. I'm going to say, looking back on 2025, what point of this year did you think your faith grew?
I would say, and don't say this is a cop-out answer, don't say, but I would say, I'm going to say becoming a homeowner. Because when I did put that on my vision board in 2024, for 2025, I had my own idea of the steps I needed in order to achieve that goal, right? And so whenever life didn't align to my vision, I had to let go of what I thought it would pan out to be, or how I thought the journey would go, or how I thought it would pan out. And I had to just literally be like, hey, guy, if it is what it's going to be, it ain't what it's not going to be. And also to not push something that is only self-driven and not God-driven and God-led. I had to just be like, if this ain't it, because now I feel I don't want it to be too vague or whatever. But the house that we originally looked at was 3-bed, 2-bath. But then they showed us a 4-bed, 2-bath. And I was like, ain't no way this could be mine. This is more so just like let's go dream up a little bit. Let's go. It seemed almost as unreachable as getting a mansion. Like that seemed beyond what I thought I could receive.
Can I pause you for a second?
Sure.
Your opening question to me is, what lie did you believe to be true this year?
Right.
And I know this is not how you set it up, but isn't that what we do with faith? I'm thinking this through. That I just want to throw a curve in there because you said you saw this was your reality, and you told yourself a lie and says, ain't no way I can get this. This is beyond.
Right.
So I don't really know why we mess around with this.
Right.
But aren't you lying to yourself that says that I gotta trust God?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing as that. And I know that wasn't a connection of that, but when I heard you say that, and you was walking through this, and I remember you saying, well, these people that showed me this 4-bedroom. I know this ain't.
And not even. But meanwhile, I immediately tucked myself away. The boys was doing what they was doing. The realtor was doing what she was doing. I went to the closet and I was just like, Lord, this look real nice. I feel at home. I feel this could be it. Am I crazy? But
you had to pray your way through what you already tell yourself that you wasn't worthy. You got a lot that we tell ourselves that says that. Matter of fact, before we came on, I was listening to some rap song, and that piece there is that one of the songs says that we convince ourselves that we're not enough for God, and so therefore, because we're not enough for God, then we can't move on. I know I heard a song that also says that He's not looking for a trophy from us, looking for us to always bring Him something that says that, oh, I did good in this. No, He wants us to have the willingness to do something. So I know that was a different segue, but the idea of me overcoming a lie that I not necessarily told myself, but I was living like I was in control of something that I wasn't in control of. And then you looking at something that says that I'm not worthy of this, and in both cases, and this is a great time to come to the end of the year, we look back and we can see those times, and we forget those opportunities where didn't this what's the word? We destroyed a lie, or your faith was improved because now you already saying, I ain't no way I can get this, but Lord, I'm gonna pray to you, and if it be your will, it's fine. But I don't want to do it in my own selfish way. But Lord, if this is your will and you are able to do this for me, then I'm gonna turn it over to you and believe that you can get this for me. So, and even when you were saying that, you were still saying, Lord, this is big, Lord.
This is big right here.
And you works to you get this from your dad that I can't figure out how this is gonna work. I don't know how it's gonna. I mean, I'm not sure that the math in it.
Right.
This and that.
I was mathing more than I thought I would ever do in my whole life.
And we always fight. God math does not add up. It doesn't. I mean, every time we're trying to do it, it never adds up because He takes us to levels that we never thought we could handle or do.
Right. And I think a big part of that transition of having faith in self, because that's really what it is, and that's why your dreams or aspirations become limited, because all you can do is what you think you were able to do in your own strength. But whenever you transition to having faith in God and how his math don't make sense to us. So that's whenever you do start walking into the I am receiving more than I thought that I could dream or imagine.
I know what you're saying. And we thinking, you thinking that 3-bedroom, 2-bath, that's good. You can expand later on in our life to this point. And then you see this, and then they present it to you. I can't even think. And again, that scripture says, above what you could even think or imagine.
Right.
And you sit there imagining, man, they didn't show me this house and this. Now I have to go into this 3-bedroom, but man, this 4-bedroom. I'm not sure how we go. And he, in his math, worked it out. And it was me. The lie that I was telling myself that says that I'm in control, and then tell the whole story. But God started to reveal, you got to have faith to move past something. And I was like, the first half of the year, it happened. I was like, no, this ain't, I'm not even going to think about it. But then the second half of the year, He says, in the middle of the year, He says, do this. And He gave me a scripture that says that you need to go put your feet in the water. I'm not going to move the water until you make the effort to move forward to it. And that's the idea. Says that I can be more than a title, a position, or whatever. So still struggling with that. Still, am I enough for God?
Mm-hmm. Or if I'm worth the thought of the blessing or the thought of something different or a new journey. It's like, so I've been living life for these 55 years. Now I've gotten into my routine. I've gotten into the religion of what life as Alton McKinley looks like. Now I got to start something new. And that is just a whole other bucket of faith you jumping into right now.
That's why it's so important to reflect on what God has brought you through in the successes of the last year. Because we are conditioned, we are trained to look at negative stuff. We hold on to negative stuff longer and harder than we do positive stuff, almost like blips in our memory. Mm-hmm. But we can tell you about all the bad stuff.
Right.
And so we gotta condition ourselves to realize that as we reflect back on some stuff, the successes that we have in our life, every day of your life, you woke up and you were in your right mind, you was in your physical being, all this stuff that was happening, you were good. So there was more good days than bad days. I know that sounds very something religious we would say, but you got to understand that to still be here 365 days later means that's a success. And so anyway, go ahead.
No, I wanted to stay in that sense of let's make sure, and I almost said something that was going to contradict me just a little bit. I was going to say, let us make sure that we stay in the present moment for 2026. But even that is the contradiction, because we get not spoiled. I'm trying to think of the word. We expect. Even in that statement, I'm expecting that everybody who listening to me right now is going to make it at 2026, and that we have the opportunity to even be present on January 1st. But seeing it that today when we're recording this, who knows when y'all gonna get this episode out, but today be present in what can I do right now in this moment to an extension of God's mission. And that's the purpose of why we're here, and that's all we can really lean towards. We can't even lean to what's gonna happen in the next hour, let alone what's gonna happen after we bed in attempt to wake up tomorrow.
Because we're stressed out on what ifs and maybes and stuff that we have no control over. And so what we can control is right now. What can I do now to be pleasing? What can I do now to let my light so shine? But we're so future minded that we don't do the best we can in the present today.
Mm-hmm.
So it's right. We got to be in the presence right now. Now we don't be God said, don't be a fool and not plan for what's to come. You always have a plan for that, but you don't lean and hope and depend on that. Because today's trouble is enough for us to handle just today, not to try to add on tomorrow's trouble. Only what I do for Christ will last. Nothing else will last. My thought is this, is that I have had an impact on generations that now, kids that are at my church, they are having a spiritual strengthening in their life that now leads them to challenge their thoughts, and then they start teaching their children. I want to preach so much so that when people leave my presence from preaching, it makes them think and challenge their thoughts, so that when they get older, they start doing the same thing to their kids. And then their kids go on. Laugh about this. I laugh about youngest grandchild. He's already influenced about who we are, because he sits there and at 1 year old is already has his hand in air and praising. Don't pay attention. Nothing else in church when the praising is going on. He raises his hand. He sees his mama and he sees his Gigi singing, and he raised his hand. So he has a worship spirit. Now I hope that carries his whole life. And if it does, guess what? If he becomes a music minister and then he is challenging somebody else to sing and praise God, it's more about let your light so shine that the people of this world will see God in you and in your good works. It's how do you connect with your kids? How do you connect with people around you? When you leave, what would they say about you? I don't want nobody to sit there lying. Oh, he was, no, say what he was. And I experienced that this year. When I decided to retire from the VA, I was struggling with the idea of retiring. As if I announced it, I was still emotionally in the spot. When I announced it, the next 2 days, doctors and nurses and administrators, I got emails flooding in me and says, you will be missed. It's great working with you, is all this. And I started sharing my friends with all that information. They said, man, did that make you want to stay? I said, no. It let me know the work was finished. People, that didn't make me want to stay. It was a confirmation that says that was a job well done. When you reflect on your highs and lows of the year, how faith carry you from January the 1st to December 16th? Faith in a rearview mirror.
I would say that it's reflecting on moments such as the one where I said where I was trying to attain a house and I couldn't see it from my vision and I had to reframe. So I would say when those lows do come up, and I'm even preparing myself for this for future, not even just 2026, for tomorrow, for next week, for when these moments do inevitably come, when these lows come up on the roadmap, when turn left come up, when these things come up in reality, I'm being present in where I am in life, but I'm not letting my moment or letting my circumstance define my future. But I'm aware of the low, right? I'm aware of the low. And I'm also aware that every test is building a testimony. I'm also aware that all things come together for the good of. I know it's all working together.
Romans 8 and 20.
Okay, that. So looking in defeat, I'm not looking at it as a place of failure. I'm not looking at it as, man, I missed the mark, or this is an unchecked box. Because every moment that I have of breath is an opportunity to one, defeat mindset, and two, overcome whatever that hurdle was. So let it be known right now. I'm cultivating this mindset probably from January 1st, 2025, in order to hopefully walk into 2026 with that same mindset of whatever comes at me is not ever to defeat me, because God has already won the battle. Okay, your turn.
No, so I'm going to piggyback on something. So as you this year, you were saying you are not taking some stuff with you in the future.
Mm-hmm.
No fears, no doubts.
Not necessarily, because I guess in a way you can't be fearful of something you know that God is overcoming and that God is speaking a win into existence for. So yeah, you may be apprehensive, you may have trepidation to you, but no, I'm not bringing that.
Okay, no, that's because I wanted to talk about it. Says that the stuff that you owe this year, you had prayers and long conversations with God about things that occurred this past year that He helped you overcome. So you know that each year of your life, you'll overcome some stuff in your life. The passage says, Paul said that, I think as Christians we get this mixed up. Forgetting those things behind me, I press towards the mark. And when we internalize that, we want to say, well, I'm not going to remember nothing from this year. That's not what he says. He was saying, I can't get hung up on those things, both good and bad. I can't rely on the wins from this year for next year, because those wins were for this year. Mm-hmm. I can't look back at my stumbles and my defeats this year, because those are things from this year that made me be here. And so what he's trying to say says that you reflect back, but you don't hold on to it. Mm-hmm. So he says, forgetting those things, because we have a tendency in what we do is look at all the things that went wrong. Mm-hmm. And we try to overcompensate that for this year. Yeah. Oh, I'm not going to do. So you still hold on to something that was meant to strengthen you yesterday. Yeah. And you're not prepared for what's going to come today. Mm-hmm. And so when we look at that, that's why I was saying, you was like, man, has grown from January 1st to now. Whether you were at 1% or 20%, right. You can see where, man, there's some stuff that God showed me this year that, man, I'm gonna trust Him a little bit more this year. Mm-hmm. And in trusting Him a little bit more, I can't go in with some of that stuff that I can't go in and say, man, I'm gonna trust Him more. But man, I lost this, I did this, man, I can't say I'm gonna make sure I don't hold. No, God, I'm looking forward to a brand new step, a brand new. And so we gotta be more. You said it in something that you was writing. You said we have to be more eternal than resolutional. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because I catch you saying, "Man, I'm fed." We put out in the atmosphere, and Satan already knows our weakness. Man, he knows flavor you like, and so when you're going there saying, my resolution next year, I'm going to read more. Mm-hmm. And skip today. I'll do tomorrow. No, just say I want to be better as a person next year. The resolution, I want to be better because of who God is. Yeah, I'm thankful for everything that God has done. I look back and say, God, thank you for my family. Thank you for salvation. Thank you. So I want to be more grateful. Yeah. For just another opportunity. Mm-hmm. Sounds so different. I wouldn't have said years ago, because I was thinking I got so much left in my life. I got so much, and look back and said, man, God has He has built us out, He has picked us up, He has turned us around. And so, like you said, I wanna take wins to next year. Just be reliant on who He is. Now I'm telling you from a person who is still struggling with being retired. So it's not something I'm I'm over. I'm still trying to learn not to be a busybody, not feeling like I gotta be doing some every hour.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I asked you that question on how do you see yourself from then to now. Another question is, what do you feel God's presence most strongly in 2025? Outside, I know at the house and all that, and I experienced that. Where you see His presence most in?
I highly doubt. This is near the answer that you were even thinking I would say. Not that you're looking for a specific answer, but I'll just say, in my quiet time, in my reflective time, I think God has been showing me that a lot. Take this how you want to take it, with a grain of salt or like as gold, whichever. But my spiritual journey right now in like 2025, 2026, I don't know what's to come. It is really focused on personal journey, my human being journey, my self journey. Just reflecting on kind of the concept of, not to say that I'm not a good person, I'm a good person, but the concept of you can't be a good Christian if you're a bad person. Because there was something I was reading that basically was like, I'm paraphrasing, you could have the prettiest voice in the world, but if you don't got love, it's garbage. You can have the best sermon with the best points in the world, but if you don't have love, it's toxic. So that's basically where I'm going with that. Not that it's gonna be possible in my humanness, fleshness, but leading with love. And so just every act, everything that I do, can I take it back to love? Can I take it back to, you know what I'm saying? And intentionally making sure that I'm not either being neutral, because I feel like sometimes even being a neutral person is not being a good person, because you're not adding to the light. What's your thoughts?
I'm glad you can see times when you are calming, and so I reflect back on that a lot. That in that moment, with all the voices in the room, you said, "Look at this, and this is how we should respond to that in love." So I can definitely see. So my second question to you, and I'm doing a lot of questions to you.
We switch around.
Our theme this year was elevation. How have you seen God elevate you this year? And these questions that we're asking, I want people to ask themselves that also.
Yes, type it in the, talk to us, chat it up. We will reply to your comments. So comment and talk to us and let us know what your thoughts has been throughout this podcast.
Our theme was elevation. So how do you think God elevates you?
Know how? Before I had glasses. I remember the first time I put glasses on and I saw trees. I can see the leaves on the trees from the car. I was like, this is what y'all see in life? Oh my goodness. But literally, I feel like God has given me glasses. I feel like my sight has elevated. My spiritual awareness, and just in folk, because it's easy. It's easy to hanging over somebody else. But, you know, so I feel like definitely giving me a new prescription for my glasses this year. And that not just for others, but to see myself in a clearer way. And so I'm going to take this time right now to say, everybody listening, it is so important that you really reflect and look at you, not at anybody else, not at whatever you can blame, not whatever you could say, well, actually, I got that from my daddy's side, but look at you and how you come off and where you fail at, your weaknesses are, your inconsiderateness, your hate, your lukewarmness, where your neutrality is, and just honestly look at, this is actually where I can build from. Not, I can lose pounds, but I could lose baggage that I've been carrying for the last 20 years. So that's why I'm going to answer your question. But yeah, I can see.
and I will. God doesn't care where He starts at. He wants you to be willing to work with Him as you elevate and build up there. So he'll start in the darkest places, or he'll start in the highest, brightest places. He just willing. He wants people that are willing. And if you're willing to walk with God, And he does so much stuff for you. People say, you're going to take a chance. No, pull a slot machine or go buy a lottery. That's a chance. God has already said, I'm more for you than the whole world against you. There's no gamble with God. Mm-hmm. The idea is that we think that we're incapable or unworthy, or God does not care. He will come and get you. Hosea in the Bible, he kept going back to a person who was living in the streets. And God was telling us, says that wherever you are, I will come get you. I'll come in and bring you in. And so that's the part of elevation. And elevation for me this year was just looking at what God was doing with me around other people and taking to me levels where, man, I didn't think I could do those things. I didn't think those things could happen. And he kept on being not only blessed, but being seeing the people around me being elevated. And he kept speaking to that in my life. It says that this is not just for you. This is what I'm doing for my people. And so as you see that, you see people respond to stuff online. You're seeing people doing some things, and you know, he stepped out of my comfort zone on some things. And it's like, I can tell you since probably October to now, I've done a lot of stuff that I'm not used to doing. I probably wouldn't have did this last year. I probably wouldn't do it. But if God's going to elevate you, you got to rely on him. You know, I don't like preaching without my tablet. Mm-hmm. Now, if you ever see me preach before, you see that I just carry the tablet with me a lot. I do use it, but I don't. God says, don't use that tablet no more. I said, huh? What you talking with it? And then you step out and you do it. It is still nerve-wracking, but you rely on God to do what God has always done. Mm-hmm. The writing is never about me, it's about him. It's the study is not about me, it's what he puts in me. And so when you start doing that, it starts being a part of your life every day. It says that if you can do that, I know you can do this. Mm-hmm. And that's why I was actually, from a faith standpoint, this year, starting in January, I wasn't sure where God was going to take us or what we were going to do. If you told me January 1st that I'll be retired before I turn 55, mm-hmm. I said retirement age is 57. I got to reach out 57 and a half. Ain't no way I can do it financially, emotionally, mentally. I'm ready to do this. I am not through with school yet. I want to teach after I leave. And so the plans we put out ain't never what, you know.
Where would you be had it been for your will? And don't ask me this. I was telling Elijah, I'm just 5 years into the adulthood for real. So I still got a lot of life to live. But I wanted that just popped into my head.
If it was up to me, what I wanted to do, it would probably would have backfired. Because I wanted to, when I got married to Joyce, the first couple of years of our marriage, I thought we would be in North Carolina. It's enough time in this podcast to show you the doors that God opened that are unbelievable.
Yeah.
When I say this, unbelievable. And when I story, people think I'm making this stuff up. No, I was down, out, and disgusted and busted. Joyce married me. I was still, credit was crazy, all that. When I tell you our story, and then the idea that we struggle in our marriage like any other couple does. Any other couple in the first couple of years. I'm 55. I ain't married more than half my life. And so when I look at this and say that, when I say if it had not been for the Lord on my side, Amber.
Literally.
If I had married the people who I was trying to marry, if I had stuck with some people who I was trying to be with and all that, if I had my will, none of this stuff is possible.
Yeah.
So if I had my will, I'd be stuck in a house that's not too far from here, small, cramped up, can't do none of the stuff we need to do, can't do a podcast because no room to do stuff in. And so it's like, God has done it. And this year, I'm telling you, I was fighting with God and I was like, no, God, you really got to show me this. You got to. And next morning I get up and read the scripture and it was talking about the children of Israel. And it was talking about, watch this, he had parted the Red Sea for them already. Mm-hmm. He parted it. Mm-hmm. But this time he says, I'm not going to do anything. I want you to walk down to the overflowing river and just walk and be confident I'm going to do something. When they did, they got their stuff and started walking to a flooded water. When they did, they got their stuff And the moment the bottom of their foot touched the water, he dried it out for them. When we walk in faith, sometimes we don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife around me on it. Sometimes I do what you do. Even though God did it, I'm still trying to figure out how we're going to do it.
Right.
Now, let me start again. We did it. I'm going to still try to work it out and see how we're going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I already did it, so why are you not worried about it? He brought us through all of this stuff, and we still worry about if God going to do it. And we take that into 2026. Because I'm saying, I'm not working. I'm on a retired. Watch this. And guess what? The retire hadn't kicked in. You know why it hadn't kicked in? Because they had more people to retire at the same time I retired. They have a 49,000 backlog.
Got a little bit to go.
Haven't stopped paying mortgage. Haven't stopped paying tithes. Lights still on. God did not bring us this far to leave. And I gotta have confidence in that. Now, that doesn't mean I don't wake up in the middle of the night trying to calculate out how it works.
Cause baby, that be me. But wait a minute, I just paid this bill. Wait, what we got left over? But I really wanted to ask, but you pretty much said it. How can we encourage people to fall in love with the path that God has for them in 2026?
This is where you have to reflect God has shown you over the last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell people, look back at points you really were praying to God so hard for something to happen. He fixed it. He fixed it so well, you have to even happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lesson in that, man, he fixes it so well, it's no longer a part of my memory because he fixes it so well. And the piece we got to realize, what has God done in your life that you forgot about it? The heartache, the pain, the disappointment, the setbacks, the job you didn't get, or the person you didn't get. When God fixed it, you're not carrying it along with you. You just work at a gas station over in Mesquite. Do you ever think about that before? I was.
The only thing that night I was scheduled to be on shift.
You got robbed.
And they got robbed at gunpoint. But because I lived the hashtag hectic life, I think I forgot that I was on schedule. So, things happen when it's supposed to happen.
We don't remember that. And so God's path for me. And again, if God let me see next year, and I always do a theme for the year. I try to work out in December. So I've kind of worked out what that theme is and have a couple of series of I want to preach next year. But that's just me preparing for next year. Not I'm taking for granted right now. I preach Sunday and I'm going to be there Sunday. Going to be God give me. But the lessons I've learned 2 Decembers ago, I was in the hospital at the end of this time. A few weeks ago, I was in the hospital. I can look back and say, man, when they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me, God was still protecting me. This last time, God protected me on some dumb stuff we do, and God protects you through it. So my encouragement is that it says that God's plan for you is never meant to hurt you, but to prosper you. And if we realize that, we can stop trying to add our conditions to the plan. So if you want a resolution for next year, stop adding conditions to God's plan. And that, to me, when you do that, now look here, I got to rethink my whole. so just in that moment, it goes along with that. Man, it goes along with the theme, but just that piece. Stop adding conditions to the plan. He's already elevated you. He elevated this year. So why would you go into next year putting conditions on his plan?
No, and that's really what that mindset I was when I in that transition from my vision to God's vision. And what was stopping me from or hindering me, because I got there eventually, was that math. Because I kept saying the only way I could get into this 4-bedroom house is if this happened, and then when A happened, B gonna happen, and C gonna happen.
He gave you Z. He went backwards on it. He said, "Here goes Z." And you start realizing, okay.
You said, yeah, we wasn't even starting from A. We was starting at Z, and it was already here for you in the back. All you had to do was come pick up your backpack, and it was already prepared for you.
Now, don't get me wrong. Your journey was steps. It was, look here, I always say this, is that Satan's role is to dishearten us in the journey.
Yeah.
And he'll put things in our place. Not that he everything, But he'll try to put stuff in front of you to stumble you. And we can get upset and get mad and say, I'm going to stop because that. No, you got to kind of pray your way through all of this stuff. It's not going to be a bed of roses. If Jesus had to go to the cross, what makes you think you're not going to have a cross? All the question I was asking you is really, you're fortifying yourself for tomorrow, a bunch of tomorrows. You're not putting yourself into tomorrow, but you're fortifying yourself for tomorrow. It's the idea of, even if I don't get to tomorrow, it's not that God can't take me tomorrow. He has something more important for me. And if it's my time to go to heaven, it's my time to, is that my preparation is being fortified journey. And wherever that journey takes me, that's where we go. And in that piece, that is that I got to learn not to take my baggage to tomorrow. I have baggages. I have want to hold on to. I need to let go. There's some anxiety that I have. I need to let go. And when you're honest about those things, it's easy to overcome those things.
Mm-hmm.
And people always ask me, why am I so open in my preaching? Open because those are my struggles that I am working on. And if I say that out loud, I admit that there's a struggle. If you admit there's a struggle to me, and you're like me, we like to fix the problem.
Yeah.
We don't like to wait for somebody else to
right.
fix it.
And you got to know what the problem is to even attempt to fix it, to know about it, to research it.
So my daughter, and when she said that, is that problem. She don't, and she'll say, well, Dad, I got to do, okay, Amber, do dot. Okay, I'm going to, she would call people. No, we're going to fix this because I can't wait for the people to show up, and you went to
now.
And so to me, when I said, man, I gotta let some stuff go, and some people go. I let some people go because even if I'm trying to work with them and let my light so shine, and it's not working, God is not going to waste time in trying to build something that won't be built because there's another person who's out there. So some stuff you kind of see when you go with it. So I want to encourage everybody that we have some stuff that we only take with us in 2026. Okay,
so consider this your baggage check. Might want to relook at what you got going on and take some stuff out. All right, leave it at the door. Any last words for this episode?
That's good because, you can take some stuff with you, but miss out. You don't have enough room to pack the stuff that you need. We went to New York and we packed some stuff in there just to have extra stuff. We get there and we got gifts that we weren't expecting to have.
Right.
We had to pay an extra $100 because everything was too heavy. It was a great point. This is time to check your stuff because you're going to 2026 and you don't even know what God's going to give you. You want to make sure you have room.
Nor do you know the destination of where He's going to take you. So please don't bring all this unnecessary stuff with you.
Leave some room for your blessings that God will give you next year. And so, and definitely don't have any conditions to what God's plan is because He is successful this year and be successful next year. So that's my thought. Hopefully, our next episode, I will give our thoughts for next year and see how it relates to this year of elevation. And part of elevation was us doing this podcast. We weren't as consistent as we wanted to be, but I think we're going to put more into it next year because we can see what God can do with us two country people.
Lord. So y'all go ahead, y'all like, comment, subscribe, share. Y'all remember to walk in faith and lead in love. Till next time. Is someone at the door? Because the door's on. All right, if something happened, it's recording. It's recording the wrong way. Oh, Christmas. Okay.